If you find yourself alone, riding in the green fields with the sun on your face, do not be afraid. For you are in Elysium, and you're already dead. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails. We haven't done one of these videos for a while. It's been 4 or 5 months. I did it in September of last year, before Jabba was even all the way released. So I want to talk about all the different Galactic Legends and the different like Galactic Legend kind of analog farms that have in the game. So it's not going to go over like CLS or Jedi Training Ray, all that stuff. It's kind of just implied. We're kind of trying to just give a broad overview of what things you should be farming, just kind of a strategy analysis kind of thing. Like, I'm going to give you my perspective and why everything is so important to the start. But that's, hopefully you can take the information that I have and apply it to wherever you are in the game and make decisions based off of some of that information and probably other information that other people have given you and things that you've observed, etc. I'm not the sole arbiter of truth, or am I? That's the question. At any rate, folks, please remember, if you want to help support this channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that like button, subscribe, comment, anything to help us mount the algorithm, folks. Really helps us get noticed. YouTube really loves it when you hit the thumbs up button, and all I'm asking for is a tiny bit of progress toward your carpal tunnel. So don't think that's too big of an ask, folks. Now, I do have this infographic, and I've updated it a few times over the course of the last year and this year. And we have Aphra in there, we have Jabba, and actually last time I had Jabba here, we had all those requirements, but we didn't have Jabba himself. We didn't have his kit or Carbantia Kyrotech values for that, and actually they turned out, the guess that I had turned out to be exactly accurate, because I just used Supreme Leader Kylo as kind of a stand-in, and Kylo and Jabba require the exact same number of Carbantian Kyrotech. So this isn't like a perfect example of, I know that there's other gear required for all these things, but I think that Carbantian Kyrotech are kind of like the most fundamental pieces of gear, and they probably give us the best overall, picture of what things look like. So you guys can read the key on what the slash looks like, or what the slash means and everything. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Remember that for Grand Inquisitor, I've also added some things in parentheses, and there's a little asterisk there at the bottom that just explains that this is also, the requirements to get Grand Inquisitor unlocked are Relic 5, but you probably want to be aiming for Riva, who is, Relic 7 requirements. And so that's kind of what I did there in the parentheses. You guys can see the asterisk there and everything. But the other thing to keep in mind, folks, the other thing to remember is you don't have to just take a screenshot of this. You can go to my Discord server, found in the video description. It's linked, and just find it yourself. I've uploaded it to the infographics channel. You guys can take it, keep it as a reference for your own self, or share it with your guild, whatever. I update it every few months, every time I make a new video like this about the kind of farming strategy and requirements and stuff. So that being said, why don't we just jump into it, folks? I'm interested to see how this goes, because that was not the order, actually, folks. I just want to have those characters all available to be able to reference. So, I'm doing like a little slideshow here. I wanted to try this. I don't know if this format's going to be amazing. You guys can let me know what your thoughts are. But keep in mind, I'm not the sole arbiter of truth. I just have, these are the ideas that I have. And if I had a new account, this is kind of the strategy I would employ. Now keep in mind too, a lot of these things are going to be informed by the new Rise of the Empire territory battle, because I think that's going to be your best route to success. If you are prepared for the Rise of the Empire territory battle, it's not that you're just going to get a ton more gear and resources and stuff. I mean, you are going to get more, but the other thing is a bigger guild might let you in if you have the right requirements, the right things to be able to help you be more successful in that specific game mode. Then a bigger guild might let you in, and the bigger the guild you're in, the more successful you're just going to be overall, whether it's with raids, whether it's with, you know, the territory battle, territory wars. Sometimes you get better rewards, etc. So a lot of that's going to be predicated on that. So I've been flip-flopping every time I make a video like this, guys, and I feel kind of dumb that I'm doing this, but here's the thing. Last time I said Sith Eternal should be your first farm. Now I'm saying Supreme Leader Kylo. The time before I said Sith Eternal, I said Supreme Leader Kylo. I've been flip-flopping back and forth, and I know that you're probably losing patience with me. What I'm going to say here is Kylo and Sith Eternal, in my opinion, should be one of your first farms. You should either choose Kylo or you should choose Sith Eternal. Just because that both of them do a lot of really good things for a new account. I don't think you should do both of them in a row. I think the other one should kind of be just like pushed toward the very back end of all your farms, to be honest, guys. But I think that one of them is a great starter, and right now I think that Kylo is the better starter, because here's the thing. The thing that I neglect sometimes to mention is that there's one true master at the Sith raid, and that is Supreme Leader Kylo. I know that there are a few other Galactic Legends who can solo it, like I think Kenobi has a solo of it now, and I don't know, does Lord Vader or Jabba, I forget now, but one way or another, Kylo is the master at it, and he is going to be one of those guys who, if you want to raid, if you want to consistently get those really top rewards, top 10 rewards in the Sith raid are going to really do you a lot of good in trying to get, you know, the right materials to get your guys to relics. And I mean, with the emphasis on Rise of the Empire right now with the territory battle, I just think that Kylo is probably the best choice. Not to mention, his fleet continues to be super relevant. You can still counter a lot of different things with it. No, it's not going to get you great banners, but it is very effective, and you know, it's fine. You get the full fleet. You just need to farm echelon on your own, but otherwise it's pretty good. And it's really good on attacking, not as great on defense. That's the case for a lot of Galactic Legends, but he'll kill every single Galactic Legend out there for you, at least for the most part. There's a few caveats, like Jabba, he might struggle a little bit against Jabba in 5v5, etc. But I mean, they all have their kind of weaknesses. I think that he's one of the most versatile characters out there, and yes, he'll drop a lot of banners, but he's also gonna be kind of that toolkit that helps you unlock a lot of different things. Next up, I think you can either go with Executor or you can go with Profundity. You need a good fleet, folks, and Executor kills everything that Profundity does, and it even kills Profundity. You can use it on offense, on defense. If you're going for Sith Eternal first, I think that Executor is going to be the most obvious way of approaching it. I think the Executor, I mean, the requirements for these fleets aren't too crazy. I do think you want one of the two meta fleets, so Executor's not as good as Profundity, I don't think, but I do think that there's a lot of good things about Executor, and it's going to be a little bit cheaper to get it for you. And there's just, I think the reason I put this here was just as a kind of nod to the idea that Sith Eternal is a really good first option as well, and if you go Sith Eternal, then you get a nod toward Executor. If you don't do that, then maybe you go for Profundity instead, but just keep in mind, Executor should be pretty high on your list. And I mean, there's also requirements for Executors such as Boba, I believe. Hold on just a sec, let me verify that. Yeah, Boba Fett. You need Boba Fett for Executor, and then you also need, it feeds right into the new Jabba unlock, which is going to be something that you need to prioritize anyways. I really think that Executor is a pretty strong choice because you're going to be working on a lot of bounty hunters for Executor. You're going to be working on a lot of bounty hunters for Jabba, just for that entire faction, and I think that Executor is probably just going to be a little bit stronger. Yes, I realize Profundity is a better fleet. You know, both of them need to be somewhat of a priority. I don't think that there's going to be like a wrong answer. I think Profundity also feeds into a lot of different requirements as well. But this is my answer for now, folks. And then the next one is going to be Jabba. In my opinion, there's not really a farm that's more important than Jabba at this point in the game. He is required for all 6 levels in Rise of the Empire, guys. He has his own node. That means it's not just that he is helpful, and you can use him on other nodes and stuff. He actually has his own node that he just is required for that no one else can use. You can't use it otherwise, you can't attack it, so you're going to be earning a lot of stuff for your guild, and that's really nice. The other thing is he has his own event, guys. The Smuggler's Run 2 requires Jabba, and it is right now probably the most important thing. Keep in mind, you're gonna get it every about like once every 10 days, something like that, every week to 10 days, and you're going to get 2 6E mod materials, like fully crafted, and you're gonna get a bunch of mods. You're gonna get a bunch of the attenuators to be able to get your mods even better, and it is just really strong. And if you look at it just like a snapshot, you're like, yeah, okay, like one person getting that one time, not too bad, I'm not missing out on much. But if you think about how many times you're going to be missing it over the course of like a year, I mean, this game is already 7 years old. You don't want to miss that over the course of a year, much less 2 or 3 years. That is an amazingly strong way to be able to catch up to people, guys. So Jabba needs to be a priority. Guilds who are like, yeah, we don't really want other like low-level people. If you have a good high-level fleet and a high-level Jabba team, they might just let you in, frankly, guys, just because of how versatile and how much utility you're going to get from that. The only problem with Jabba, of course, is his requirements are just not that useful. Like, some of them are useful. I think that Jedi Knight Luke is probably the most problematic one, but after that, I mean, once you get him, then you can get Jedi Master Luke fairly easily as well. So you get Jabba. I think that's going to be just an incredibly important farm for you folks. And then next, I would say the thing is, fleets are just the most important aspect in this game right now, and if you can unlock both Executor and Profundity, you're going to have a lot of really great advantages. And so I think getting Profundity ready is good, and not to mention a lot of the different requirements for Profundity can bleed into your Jedi Master Luke farm, such as Mon Mothma, and you get like your dash up to high relics, and that's going to help you with your Starkiller farm eventually. Like, there's a lot of different things that Profundity feeds into, and I just think that, I mean, it is the currently best meta fleet out there. It really is very strong. And I mean, the thing that I like about Profundity, so first off, if you get it to 7 stars, then you can use it in Rise of the Empire, and it's going to kill every single fleet node that you enter every single time, basically, and it's really strong. Like, you're going to, that adds to your versatility in getting into another guild. Not to mention, you're going to be able to get those really nice fleet payouts. That's the other piece of it, guys, is you want all those crystals. You want to be able to get raids through through Supreme Leader Kylo, and then to be able to get those top rewards, and then you want to get the you can't really rely on GAC to get you crystals. Like, you're probably gonna just get a pretty steady amount. Like, you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some, whatever. The only one that you can really rely on is getting #1 in fleets every day, and Executor will get you there. Profundity will also get you there, and you can get there with 5 stars, or even less than that. You probably want to get it to 5. It's really good on offense, on defense, does a lot of cool stuff, but you don't need to get it to 7, though. If you don't want to get it to 7, if you don't need it for your guild stuff, for Rise of the Empire, then 5 is good enough, and then you can just slow farm it, frankly. Now, if you're going for Rise of the Empire stuff, you're probably going to want to focus on the Grand Inquisitor, guys. Now, right now, as of currently, he is still not in the journey guide. He is a guy, it's like, I don't know when he's going to appear next. Like, he was in end of December, so it's been a little less than a month. Probably in another couple months from when I post this, he'll be released again, and then he'll probably go into the journey guide permanently another 3 months after that, after he's been out for a full year. The thing is, with him, he is going to help you unlock your Riva shards, which I think right now, that's the mad scramble. Every guild who can add people who does to rush to get the Riva shards are going to be doing that. You need to have Grand Inquisitor, though. You can't substitute him for someone else. He is a requirement, and so if you want to contribute to your guild, getting him is going to be super important. The bad thing is, the Inquisition are tough to get a lot of times. Like, they're tough farms, they're all on hard nodes, and then they're not that fun. Like, you're not going to get much of a payout until you finally unlock Grand Inquisitor. They're not a great squad until you get him. Once you get him, they're wonderful, and once you get him, and once you finally unlock Reva is also going to be crazy important to that team, and that team's going to be like moderately overpowered to the point that it's like she probably beats a lot of Galactic Legends in almost every game mode, and so she's going to be something really good. It's just an investment in, like, you just have all these characters that it feels like they're kind of worthless, and you're putting Relic 7 on them, and you start questioning your existence a little bit, just because it's a rough thing. I mean, I don't want to have to deal with having a bad squad for that long, and then you're like, oh, I guess I'll just wait for like 3 months until Grand Inquisitor is available again. So time your farms, guys. It's only 5 characters. Put relics on them, and then you have to put relics on Grand Inquisitor, get Relic 7, and then, I mean, a guild is going to snap you up for that. Like, that they're going to be eternally grateful for the Reva shards, because she is going to be really good for a very, very, very long time. Next, I would say Grumpface Luke is great, because you already have Jedi Knight Luke farmed for Jabba. You already have the Mon Mothma from Profundity. You have a bunch of the pilots from Profundity. You have a ton of different things that Grumpface Luke really wants to have as a requirement, and he's going to be he's really good on offense. He's going to be able to take out quite a few things. He's very versatile in Rise of the Empire. He is the reason I put him so low, guys, because he is amazing in Conquest as well. He's probably my favorite Conquest character. I think he's probably, well, I don't know if he's my favorite exactly, but he's probably the most versatile and useful throughout the whole thing. Yes, certain characters are going to wax and wane in terms of level of importance, but Luke is just consistently so strong, guys. I mean, he's just got a really, really solid foundational kit, and the only problem here too, guys, is, I mean, I said required. He's the only required Relic 9, and that's kind of misleading, because obviously Adrad is required at Relic 9, and he's the only actual really required Relic 9. But I say this because all the other Galactic Legends can function at Relic 8 or even Relic 7 in some cases for a long time. He really wants Relic 9 because his whole team really thrives when he has it. And so I would say, I mean, that's the other thing, is if you get him like as your first GL, it's going to take you forever, because he has so many weird requirements. They require a lot of GET1, GET2, etc. And so once and Jedi Luke is part of it, and you have to unlock like C-3PO, which requires Ewoks, which, like, there's just a ton of farms that go into him. But once you're at this stage, I think you can probably farm him relatively easily, and he's going to do you a lot of good, honestly. You just want Relic 9, and that's the other thing, is if you don't want a character that's like, oh yeah, you need Relic 9 for him, like early on, unless it's Adrad, of course, to get Profundity. Starkiller is another really good one, and so here's the thing that's really messing with me, guys, is this Grumpface Luke requirement, like, and Starkiller, they're both like not as good as Kenobi, and so maybe you want Kenobi before Grumpface Luke or Starkiller. I don't really know, but at this point I was like, you know what, Starkiller, you already have Dash farmed. You have a Mon Mothma squad now, so you probably want to have Kyle farmed, and if you're probably working on some Sith at some point, you get Talon farmed. Like, all the different requirements for Starkiller are all really useful and helpful, and you want, for him, you want Mara Jade on there. You probably have Emperor Palpatine unlocked at this point, because he's probably the first one that you've unlocked, because he's super easy to unlock, and Starkiller just has a lot of really cool requirements that are very useful throughout the various different game modes. And so it's like, well, if you get Jedi Master Luke, then at this point, why don't you have Starkiller? Because it's only 4 characters to unlock him, so maybe Starkiller should go before Jedi Master Luke. I don't really know. I just know that he is going to be a really strong thing. He is not what I would consider an early game character, though, because you get like Kyle Katarn, and he really wants to be with Mon Mothma. If he doesn't go with Mon Mothma, he can go with some Jedi, but you probably want, the only other Jedi he really likes is Jedi Master Luke, which is the requirement right before this. And, you know, like Talon doesn't do any good unless she has like a full Sith team to hang out and help. Same with Dash. He really wants to have some scoundrels to hang out with, and you probably don't have those early games. So a lot of people are saying that this is the first farm that you should do because he's so strong and versatile, and he is strong and versatile. But keep in mind too, yes, he unlocks after 4 characters. You're going to need a lot of other characters such as Visas Mar, or if you want him for territory wars, you want Juhani. Like there's a ton of different characters that you want to farm for him. Maybe even Treya, honestly. And so even though his requirements only have 4 characters, they also imply that you're going to want at least Emperor Palpatine and Mara Jade. And you're going to, you know, Mara Jade is a requirement, of course, but then you're going to want some kind of good Jedi, relic Jedi, and you're going to want Visas Mar, probably. Those are the ones that I would recommend right now. So he comes with certain levels of implication that he doesn't, whereas they're not required, they're characters that are going to be very useful once you finally have him. Like once you unlock Starkiller, you can just sit there and be like, okay, great, now what do I do? Like it can be kind of confusing, and so I really recommend waiting for Starkiller a little bit. Maybe not this late. I don't know. Whatever feels right to you. But I do think that he isn't the early game rock star that some people seem to be advocating for. Now, Kenobi, I can't believe he's this low, guys. He should be a little higher. He really just should. And he's so versatile. He kills everything, every single team. I mean, obviously there's datacrons involved, so sometimes not. But he can take out Jabba, usually. He can take out like basically anything, Lord Vader, depending on datacrons, etc. And I'm trying not to mention datacrons too much here because I think that datacrons, they shift too much, and so this is more like kind of an in general guide. But he's really banners efficient. He is he's just really strong. He requires Watt, which if you don't have Watt farmed, it can take a while. If you don't have a good guild that farms Watt for you, like that's a serious issue. Because he's a requirement, the only way to get him, I guess Watt you can get now in the, like just in the guild store, the guild event store, whatever, but, you know, it requires a lot of currency to get that, and so sometimes you don't have Watt, and sometimes, folks, the other thing, the unofficial requirement for Kenobi, guys, the only reason the reason I'm telling you to wait for so long, and maybe you don't need to wait this long, but he really needs Kat, Commander Ahsoka Tano. He does not do well without her. Yeah, he'll kill, like, Supreme Leader Kylo, and maybe that's it. That really might be it. He'll do okay in, like, PvE, I guess, but Commander Ahsoka Tano is what makes him so crazy powerful. And if you don't have her, if you don't have a way to get her, it's really hard to farm her. If you don't have her, you're kind of out of luck. And so you can see I even had to edit this slide because I wanted to add that relies on Cat. That's why that text is a little bit different than the ones above it. So yes, he's a very good, very, very good character. 3rd best GL right now, or maybe 2nd best, depending on if you decided to buy into the whole narrative of Lord Failure. But one way or another, I think he's the 3rd or 2nd best character in the game right now, after Jabba and potentially Lord Vader. And he should be farmed maybe earlier than this. Just keep in mind, if you don't have Cat, he's not really worth it, in my opinion. Lord Vader, here's the thing, he is really strong. He's really strong, and he's going to be really helpful in Rise of the Empire. He really is. He's going to be really strong. The problem is he costs so much. His requirements are so crazy high. So many Relic 8s, so many Relic 7s, lots of gear, lots of different characters. The characters are all pretty good, but you also, once you get to this stage, you're going to be able to actually use those characters and plug them into various points in your roster and the various teams. And if you farmed him first, it's like, okay, you get Bad Batch and you get a bunch of random crap. Like, nothing too crazy exciting about it. You know, it's like, oh, I guess I have to relegate Padme for some reason, even though she's not really necessary at 8 until, you know, except for this requirement. And so he's also very strong. The thing is, he's off and on again, depending on what Datacron he has. And, he's very easy to counter if you put the wrong team down. He's very difficult to counter if you don't. The other thing, of course, is that if you don't have Maul, he's going to be a little less versatile. Now, you don't absolutely need Maul to make him strong, as opposed to Kenobi needing Cat. But Maul is another thing to keep in mind. And, he's going to give you some more bounty hunters. He's going to give you some more characters that are really good. His requirements are good. And he does really well. He does well in PvE and in PvP. He's just very, very, I don't know. He's off and on again. CG can't decide whether they want to make him super strong. All he needs is like a tiny buff, and he's one of the best players in the characters in the game. That's why Datacrons, he's so reliant on which Datacron set he's using. So he's this low on the list because he's expensive, and he's not he's reliable-ish. The other GLs just kind of seem like they have a better, more solid place in some ways. And by the way, I don't buy the narrative of Lord Failure. I don't think he's a failure. He is a very good character. Now, I can't believe Rey is on the bottom of the list, and she's also the bottom of the list in terms of how many characters are required for, or how many people have farmed her. She's the least farmed Galactic Legend right now. I mean, maybe Jabba's less, but I mean, he's gonna pass her if he hasn't already. Here's the thing: she is amazingly versatile. Her squad is really fun. If you can get Ben, especially, she is really strong. Her lifter character is really strong. If you don't have Ben, that makes her significantly worse. And otherwise, we just got a new character to kind of help that whole faction, and that might really help us. Honestly, that Zori Bliss character looks like it's going to make that whole second team really strong. But right now, Resistance is just not in a great place. You have Rey, who is very strong. Yes, her whole team, great, wonderful. She can take out most Galactic Legends on her own. She's good on defense and on offense, very efficient, great in Rise of the Empire, able to kill all those, one-shot all of those big stacks on Baraka, for instance. She does a lot of cool stuff. She just does. The problem is, her fleet is not the best. It does okay. It does fine-ish, but it's not the very best. And she's also... you don't farm her because of the fleet. You're not like, oh man, I really wish I had the Radis fleet. It's just not on your wish list. You should be farming for it, in my opinion. But yeah, the requirements just aren't great for her. And so unless Zori Bliss really turns things around for them, or they get another ship that really makes it good, maybe like a Y-wing piloted by Zori Bliss or something like that. So we get third Y-wing, triple Ys. I don't think that would be very wise, to be honest, guys. But I think she is very strong. There's other things. I guess the other thing I want to point out, guys, is she scales really well. Let's actually go to the game. Whoa, whoa, we're not in the game. Here we are, guys. We're in the game. Let me just show you real quick. She scales really well. A lot of these characters do, but they recently, well, it's not even that recent, but they made a few changes. So first off, Lifeblood, you guys know how Lifeblood works. It's Whirlwind, though. So as you increase her relic levels, they actually made it so that it scales with her relic amplifier level. And you also have, you have her Galactic Legend thing that gives her more health and protection over time. And then, obviously her ultimate is going to be a little bit better based off of all of that. Alright, so just wanted to make sure on a couple things here, folks. So, yeah, she scales really nicely just because she's able to, every time she gains a relic level, she's going to gain max health and max protection, of course. And then she gains extra damage every relic level because of her Whirlwind. So she scales really well. All of them kind of do, but just something to keep in mind. They went out of their way to make sure that she actually did scale well. Not to mention, her relic levels just really do help her quite a bit. All the different things, folks. She's one of the better Relic 9 candidates out there, etc. Very stat hungry, but she's probably worth it. So yeah, let's get back to the actual list here, folks, and get finished. So I think the last one on the list, well, Sea of the Eternal is the last one on the list, but Dr. Aphra, she is right now. Okay, so she has a lot of promise, and with her current Datacron set, she is amazing. Actually, she does a lot of crazy stuff, and she just deletes people. But once that Datacron is gone, maybe she'll get another one. But she doesn't have a tank. You can't really use her on defense, and that really restricts her versatility in some ways. You can put her on defense, I guess, in 3s, but you know, she gains a lot of turn meter at the start. She gets 100% turn meter, but it seems like she just gets taken out fairly easily by teams that like kind of just ignore that because she doesn't have a tank. She doesn't have a pre-taunt that doesn't exist if she wants to get all of her synergy stuff, and if she doesn't have all of her synergy stuff, then she's going to be significantly weaker. And so she looks really good, really promising. She's probably got more coming soon at some point, but right now she just needs to be used for offense. She can take down, like with the current Datacron, she can take down tons of different galactic legends, the ones that don't restrict turn meter, but otherwise she won't take down those same galactic legends if she's on defense. So her murder bots do great. She's great for Rise of the Empire. Eventually, she may climb up to the top of this list. I don't know, but right now she just seems. You also can't farm her all the way. Like, you can't farm Sana unless you want to use crystals, and that, I know, to a lot of people is not going to be a really wonderful proposition. Finally, we have Backpack Emperor, folks, and I mean, it's like, does he deserve to be at the end? I don't think any of these characters deserve to be at the very end. And you know, you're gonna want to farm a lot of the requirements anyways. You're gonna want troopers before you get him, probably, so you have Stark and Veer's done. You're gonna want to get like Tarkin and his fleet ready, so he's one of them. You're gonna want Royal Guard for Lord Vader, so you might actually just like accidentally unlock him before this. I don't know. Like, he's pretty good. He does give you a pretty decent fleet as well if you farm all the different characters, but I mean, you're gonna need to farm other characters for that fleet outside of it as well. And so, like I said, like he can be the first. He's not wonderful at PvE, folks. He's really awkward. Like the link thing, that whole, it works really well against a lot of teams in PvP, but in PvE it's awkward and clumsy and takes forever, and he doesn't let his team revive, which also really restricts his uses in PvP. So yes, he's good, yeah, like, and he can get a lot of good banners if he just solos things as well, but he's also a guy who can really, you can wait for him. Yes, he's good. He can do cool stuff. He's a galactic legend, one of the most powerful characters in the game. In my opinion, he is the least essential out of all of them. Or you can get him first and just kind of ignore Kylo and his fleet. So really, it's your choice. Kylo would be my choice, though, if you wanted to get ahead with those Sith raids. Of course, that takes more time in the game, so there's also that. That being said, folks, what do you think? What's your farming order? What's the best thing? What did I miss? Be respectful about the discussion, but I want to hear what your thoughts are. Is this the right order? Is this the best order? Almost certainly not. I just think that it's worth discussing all the different good and bad. Did you like this format? Would love to hear that from you guys. One way or another, folks, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.